Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, October 29th, 2023. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. And it's been another fast week this week with lots of stuff going on. And so I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube. And we'll look at climate-related items and methane and sea ice and things like that. And so I'd like to start out just by going over Climate Reanalyzer. And we're at maximum temperatures for the day, and we're seeing this blue, dark blue, that's about 15C, minus 15C to minus 20C, where it's the super dark. This is Greenland and across the Arctic to Russia. We still have greens coming up in the North Atlantic and the Barents Sea, and this is air temperatures, and the green is about 5 degrees C. So that's above freezing. We've got an area on the west side of the Arctic, mainly over this Beaufort Sea area and Chukchi Sea, that's a lot warmer than normal. You'll see that in the next thing I'll show you here. And we've got cold air swooping down from Canada through the middle of the U.S. and also over in my neck of the woods. And we've had cold weather for the last couple of days, and the nights, I think the low last night was 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and so we went really from summer to winter. We just had maybe 4 or 5 days of kind of medium, kind of like fall-like weather, but that's what's happening. So we've got this super cold air coming down through Canada and into the middle part of the U.S. and up. And let's see, next Saturday night is when the people here in the U.S., we turn our clocks back to go off daylight savings time. I think it's I don't know if we go on or off it, but we turn our clocks back next Saturday. And so, it happens for different countries at different times around the planet, but that's what it's doing here in the U.S. next week. And here in South America, we have a lot of whites on the interior, still having some whites across North Africa and the southern part of Africa. Australia, you're still seeing whites, and this denotes 40 degrees C or higher and about 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. So you're still heated up, Australia, in this northern and northwest area, and some on the interior. Also New Guinea and Papua New Guinea and some of these Pacific Islands region. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly, and we're seeing red here over the Beaufort Sea, red and brown, and a little red over Alaska, but then brown's moving out, a lot of brown over eastern Siberia there. And then we've got brown from Svalbard all the way over to Russia there. browns. Greenland is in the browns. And here's our cold air. See the dark blue, and that is this is like 10 to 14 C lower than normal down through Texas even, and see all the way over to the west coast. And then browns right next to it. And then we've got blues up in the Scandinavian area and Russia, and then browns across from Spain across Europe and on over. Here's the flat view. See the blues, so that's colder than normal, and then browns just below that. Africa too, and here's Australia. Here's your browns across the middle part of the country. And then in the Antarctic, it's warming back up, and we've got reds over this brunt ice shelf region in the Antarctic. Here's our overview worldwide. We're up 0.88 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 1.41 C. The Arctic is up 5.17 C higher than normal, and this has been above 5 or above higher than normal all week. The Antarctic is down 0.13 C, that's lower than normal. Southern hemisphere is up 0.36 C, and the tropics are up 0.86 C. So this northern hemisphere and Arctic are both that's super high, super duper high. Here's precipitation in clouds. The green is rain, the blue is snow. We've got rain coming up to this southeast coast of Greenland. We'll see if they register any change in the melting with that. We're at the end of the melt season for Greenland, and so within the next few days, National Snow and Ice Data Center won't be reporting on Greenland for the winter until next spring. Usually April is when they bring that back online. And we've got this big rain and snow mass here coming up off of Canada, moving up. The snow is moving up towards Greenland, and then the rain is to the east of that. Here's another atmospheric river, see, coming diagonally across the U.S. from Texas all the way up to the northeast there. And we've got snow. See the blue? We've got snow over a lot of this Arctic region. And we've got rain here in the Bering Sea and off the coast of Alaska. So there's that. So it's got to be warmer for it to be rain than snow, obviously. Here's our flat view. And here are the jet pieces, what's left over from what used to be a jet stream. And we've called it different names once it started breaking up, like the jet loops. I called it jet loops for a long time, but it's not looping anymore, it's just pieces. And then I think Larry called it jet screams. And so, you know, we have our pet phrases for different things. So you can see this open loop where the cold air is swooping down from Canada, swooping all the way down here. And our southern hemisphere is totally broken and messed up. So how many loops, how many lines do we have? We've got this one above the equator. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in the northern hemisphere. And like 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the southern hemisphere. Here's the Pacific view, and see these loops and breaks. It's definitely broken. It broke, I think it was a couple of summers ago is when it broke. And we'll look at sea ice in a minute. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. This is for yesterday, and we're seeing there's less brown now in this Arctic region. It's starting to cool down. The sun is still up barely. It's still, you know, on some of the coastlines, it's still in the sun, but a lot of this area is already in the dark. And we still have browns around Novaya Zemlya and Svalbard, and then we've got some blues. And we have our, we've got a blob, kind of a reddish brown blob here in this Davis Strait between Canada and Greenland. And the reddish brown, that's about 4 to 5 C higher than normal. This is sea surface temperature anomaly. So Hudson Bay is still mainly brown. These Great Lakes are still on the browns. And the Atlantic is mainly in the browns. We still have a few lower than normal areas just popping in and here and there. Gulf of Mexico is brown, and then further down, down to South America, it's moving into darker brown. And we have darker shades of brown across the Atlantic. I'm thinking where we have these lines, it may be shipping lanes that's causing that, where there's a lot of shipping traffic. Here's the flat view. Let's see. Oh, this is brown. We've got a blue spot just below the equator between Africa and South America, and then brown south of that all the way to the sea ice in the Antarctic. The Indian Ocean is mainly brown. We've got a blue spot just west of Indonesia. And then in the Pacific, see the heavy reds and reddish brown along the equatorial region. Here's some blue south of that, next to South America and then browns. And up here in the North Pacific, now in the summertime we see blobs of reds and pinks and so forth, but that's kind of dissipated and we're seeing just blotches of brown. Let's see. Now right here off the coast of Japan, it's moving into red and pink, and that is 6 to 7 to 8 C higher than normal. It's just off the coast of northern Japan there. So there's that. Now we'll move to methane. And first off, in our show last week, I showed that they were delayed on releasing methane data on cams, and same thing has happened this week. And they did get caught up. They started on Monday, I think it was Monday, releasing methane data, and I captured all of it in silent movies for my Subscribestar members. I put that up on my Subscribestar page, and so the latest data we have right now is only from Wednesday, October 25th. So we're going to look at that in a minute. And we also had a big change with the NOAA methane data. I was showing the last couple of weeks where the Met-Op-C satellite was mainly just showing gray. So much missing data. There's no way we could get accurate readings. And NOAA came back online. I'll show you what happened this week, but they're back online. This is the third day they're back online, and I don't know if they had to recalibrate everything or what, but everything's back online. Met-Op-B and Met-Op-C satellites with what looks like normal coverage. And so we're back with the data gathering now. So I'll show y'all exactly what happened. And so here we're looking at the NOAA methane data for yesterday, the 28th, and starting with the 1,000 millibar level Met-Op-B satellite in the morning. The mean or average was 1,845 parts per billion. And in the afternoon it was also 1,845. Here's the Met-Op-C. You can see the difference here. See, they're showing readings down even over the Antarctic, and so that's good. See, we've got now we still have some grayed areas, which is common, but we've got enough here. It's in the normal range of what I'd say, what we usually see. So here the mean was 1,847, and in the afternoon it was 1,847. Moving to the 487 millibar level Met-Op-B satellite in the morning, the mean was 1925, and in the afternoon it was 1926. And for the Met-Op-C, you can see the good coverage here from North Pole to South Pole. Metopsy in the morning, the mean was 1892, and in the afternoon it was 1891. We're seeing pinks over a lot of the northern hemisphere, and this is a range down here, and this range is between 2,000 parts per billion and whatever the high number here is in the range, like 2221 in this case. And we're seeing pinks here over the Weddell Sea and on either side of the Western Peninsula in the Antarctic. So let's see what's going on. So I'm starting with our weekly chart for just the Metopsy satellite for 487 millibar level. And so the 28th averaged out to be 1891.50, and the last good reading we had before all of this, before NOAA came back online, was the 13th, and so this is a decrease of 3.5 in this really 2-week period, which is not that much, but I do think we've reached our peak, and for this level it happened from the good data that we have, September 16th at 1898.5 right up here. And where we started, now we're at 1891.5 now on the 28th. And remember, we started this new model just about a year ago. It was actually on October 28th was the first data, so 1891.5, and if we go back here, 1891, and this time last year it was at 1886.5, so we're up 5.5 since this time last year. That's all I can go on is the good data that we can discern. So that doesn't seem like a lot, but we just don't know what it's going to look like really from day to day. We're in no man's land. It's still higher. It's not going down by any means. Okay, let me show you what I did here. So I kind of revamped my spreadsheet, and I took all of the questionable data, and I'm still documenting what they posted, moved it over here, and then I put my notes over here that Metopsy was mostly gray. That was the reason for all of those. And then on the 24th there was only one satellite reading available, so I just put missing data. And then on the 25th there was no data, and then the 26th average was 1889.50, and from the 13th, which was our last good day, that was a decrease of 5.5. And then it went back up. The 27th average was 1892.0, and that went up 2.5. And the 28th average was 1891.5, so down 0.5. And I do think we peaked out, and you know, it could have been during some of this mess, this metopsy, but we'll never know. And so what we do know, our highest reading with our good data here was September 16th at 1898.5. And so how much did it go up from our low? We could look at that. 1898.5. And our low was February 16th, 1866. So 1898.5 minus 1866. So we have a spread of 32.5 parts per billion from low to high for this year. And the trend is what we see, what we've seen in the years past is, I'll show you over here. What we've seen in the years past starting in March of 2019 is that it go up, like it peak out here in late summer, early fall. I mean, it would be fall actually, usually, yeah, at fall. And then it'd go down, and then go up, go down, and our lows are always higher than the year before, and then so we're higher starting out in the warming season, and then we go even higher in the next year, and then here's the low. See, and there's a big difference of 10 to 15 parts per billion in a year. And then here, this peak here, then the low, and then peak up here. And that was, this was 2022. And so, that's the trend. And we're going to see that trend over here too. Alright, and so, for the full 487 millibar reading, the 28th averaged out to be 1908.5, and that was a decrease of 1.75 since the 13th. So not that much of a change. Let's see, not that much. And so for this one, our if we peaked out, our potential peak was on September 18th at 1915.25. And so that's where we're at. And so it's gone down since then. Almost 7 parts per billion. And so on this one, I did the same thing with moving my data over here to the potential columns and my explanations over here. And it was really just under a 2-week period. Just under. And then for 1000 millibar, the 28th average was 1846.0, and that was a slight increase from the 13th of 0.25. So surface level, not as much of a change from beginning to end in surface level. And we know that methane is very light and doesn't stay near the surface. It zips up in the atmosphere pretty fast, and it breaks down into carbon dioxide and I think water vapor. And so anyway, and it hangs around in the cooler areas, and in the higher regions is where it likes to hang around. So our potential peak for 1000 millibar happened on September 26th of 1849.5. Over here, 1849.5. So we started out at the end of October last year at 1844. And right now we're 1846, so we're only up 2 parts per billion since this time last year. So not much changed surface level, but it happens up in the higher regions, as I explained. So I found that kind of interesting, and I'll keep you posted on all of that. Now we'll go over the methane forecast for Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services, or CAMS. These people are out of the EU. Our base time and valid time are for Wednesday, October 25th, and Arctic area and surface level are where we're starting. So the data is for Wednesday, and the forecast period is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I'll be monitoring this website closely. And as soon as they start releasing new data, I'll start recording it as silent movies just to capture it and post it on my Subscribestar page. Okay, and so what we're seeing, we've got it's popping off here at Iceland. See that? And the Scandinavian area is pretty high, and see it's streaming off the coast over in the Barents Sea and the Norwegian Sea. Komsomolets has come back to life. It's definitely percolating up a storm there. And the interior of Russia, the background levels we can see are still in the orange, kind of yellow-orange and reddish range when it cycles down at night, and that's the lowest readings is when it's nighttime. And we can see higher readings coming across the Arctic here, and see here coming out over the Laptev Sea, that's in the, and over this East Siberian Sea. See this wave? So we haven't seen these waves yet. Normally we see these just at the end of the methane rising season as it's starting to go down, and as the sea ice is freezing. I think it's the last, it's the earth giving off, releasing at the end of the season. And plus, with the sea ice refreezing, even a little thin layer on the surface, there's warm water underneath, and so even the thin layer of ice is holding in that warm temperature, and is causing these seabeds to heat up. And a lot of times we see our highest readings here in the Arctic in the winter. And I didn't understand that for a long time, but that's what it's from. I always thought we'd see our highest readings in the summertime with the water heating up, but without the ice, the heat can escape rather than being trapped by the ice. Of course, it's being absorbed too, but anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, no, it sounds like a lot of contradictions, but that's how I understand it. Here, the interior of Alaska, sea has come back to life. Koktovik is percolating again. Western Canada, this is still high in the tar sands region, and up here in the forecast period, this west coast of Canada and around Vancouver Island. See, that's high there. And we've got high readings on the east side of Canada under the Hudson Bay, and just kind of blobby all the way across. Super high readings on this eastern seaboard of the U.S. This is, remember, they just had a whole bunch of rain, and so after rain you're going to see high methane. And here's North Dakota, it's still hemorrhaging. West Texas, here's California, it's pretty blobby. Now it's gone down over the interior, like from Texas over, it's gone down a lot when you see where it just starts out. And it's still bad up here and on the coast. See the heavy readings streaming out. That's high methane when you see that. Oh, wrong one. Now we'll go to the North Pole view. And UK and Ireland, you're pretty blobby. Here's Germany. And all the way over. France, you're getting some. Spain, you're getting some. Even Italy. Here's the Persian Gulf. See, it's kind of lightened up, which is kind of surprising. Normally we see that just a big blob. Well, it is a big blob when you start out, but here's India filling up. And see spilling over in this Bengal Bay. China's filling up. And spilling over some of these coastlines. Whenever you see that spillover, that's very high methane. And now we'll go to the global view. And this light blue, this pale, is 1860 parts per billion, and it's I guess it's about almost half and half with the next reading down. This darker blue of 1840, it's creeping in, mainly equatorial region and further south. Now we have been seeing some navy blue. Here's a little spot of navy blue that pops in just above Papua New Guinea, and that's 1820 parts per billion. But that dissipates, so it doesn't stay low. Okay, and then here's 500 HPA, and see the heavy, see a lot of it's over the US, Canada, Arctic. We've got some lighter readings that have come in. It's not just solid dark brown all the way across. And these are lower readings where you see the green instead of the yellow or orange. We're still seeing reds and oranges further south even. And then total column, and we've been seeing there's this big blob. I don't know if it's a blob, if it's in the air, but anyway, a big heavy reading off the coast of California and Baja here over the Pacific. Another heavy reading, this line just north of Hawaii there, and then we can see it goes all the way up from southern Asia through China and all the way up into southern Russia there, and then across northern India and so on. And then all these reds too. So there's that. And now a couple more things off of cams. This is sulfur dioxide for today. And we've got a high reading here in Colombia. I'm thinking that's volcanic. Also, here at Kamchatka, that's volcanic. And here it is at 500 HPA. See how it jumped up in the atmosphere there at Colombia. Here's Popocatépetl in Mexico. Here's where it's hanging around in northern Canada. And here it is that streamed over from Kamchatka. Here's the ozone hole over the Antarctic. It's still huge. And I can't really tell if it's getting smaller. It should be starting to close up. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we can see a black area inside. It's hard to tell this dark navy blue from the black. I'm not seeing any black. So it's down 4 layers in the danger zone inside this black line. And so most of the continent is in the danger zone. Here's the Arctic ozone. Here's a hole in the North Kara Sea, and then the green. I consider the greens holes too. Look at all this green. And here, from Alaska down along western Canada and western US, and then across. So a lot of greens there. Here's the flat view, or global view. Lots of greens. See here, down through Russia. And then it thickens just on the outside of the ozone hole in the Antarctic, and it thickens just south of the Arctic region too. But I do want to zoom in. We've got an aqua hole here, right in the mid-Atlantic, that's opened up. And earlier this week, yeah, we're still seeing an aqua hole here over the West Pacific, all the way over to Papua New Guinea. So when it gets thin like that, it can't block out the solar radiation and the UV rays, and so you're going to be more prone to the glaring sun. Just it'll feel like it's burning you in the middle of winter, and you're in your car, and it's like 20 degrees outside, but in your car that sun is just burning you, and that's from the ozone layer being so thin. It also will cause you to burn, your skin to burn if you're outside in it for any length of time, and cause skin cancers. And it can burn you through your clothes too. I didn't know if people were aware of that. If you're just wearing something light, it can definitely burn you through your clothes. Okay, here's earthquakes from today. There were 216 worldwide. This is upper mid-Atlantic. We've got one in the Norwegian Sea. It was a 6.0 at Vanuatu. Here's this 4.1 Norwegian Sea between Iceland and Svalbard, and it's right on this red line, the tectonic plate line. And here's the 6.0 at Isengil, Vanuatu. And that's all my pictures. And so I'm going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and do the sea ice part of the show. Okay, now we'll move on to the sea ice part of our show. And first we'll start with our Climate Reanalyzer slideshow. These are images I download every day. And this is sea ice concentration and snow cover. This is for today. The white on the land areas, that's the snow you can see coming down. This is Colorado here, and Nebraska, Iowa, and then up. A lot of Canada is in the snow, and so on. Alaska, most of Russia has snow now. If we zoom in, we can see we're getting a little regrowth here in the North Baffin Bay, a little regrowth in the tributaries. Not much of a regrowth here in the Beaufort Sea or Chukchi Sea. This is the area that has the warmer air over it, as we saw. There's still a hole in this East Siberian Sea, and we've got ice up to the Russia coast now, and see it's filled in all the way across in the Laptev Sea. And we're getting ice in this North Kara Sea. The southern Kara Sea is still open, and around Novaya Zemlya it's open. The Barents Sea is still open, and Svalbard, it looks like, is still open. And Greenland, it's getting just a little bit of refreeze on the edge here, and it's thickening and filling in mainly. So let's see where we are, what happened since last week. Here we were last Sunday, the 22nd, when we still had a lot of open water around the Russia coastline there, and also in the Kara Sea. So let's see what happened. So here was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there it goes, Saturday, and here we are today. So quite a bit of filling in just in the last couple of days here. So there's that. And then this is for the U.S. Navy Arctic sea ice thickness model. This was effective for today. And we can still see it's mainly in some shade of purple. That's the majority color up here right now. It's kind of dark purple moving into blue here at the North Pole, and that's about 1.1 to 1.25 meters thick. See the fringe ice forming here in the North Kara Sea and the Laptev Sea, and it's still, here's the hole still in this East Siberian Sea, but it's trying, and we've got fringe ice trying to come back here on this western edge. And here's the purple and the tributaries and little regrowth in this North Baffin Bay and along the east side of Greenland. It's just kind of filling out a little bit there. And as far as the thicker ice, we've got still aqua just above Greenland and above Canada. This little head has been sliding down, sliding west, and we've got some thicker ice forming on the coast of Greenland, moving into a little bit of red and dark red. That's about 5 meters thick. And then the bright aqua is about 2 to 2.5 meters thick. And it goes down from there. And it looks like these pieces have divided, sort of. I don't know if in the forecast period this is going to make a bridge here, or if they're going to separate. So let's look at that. And here's the 30-day animation, and it's updated to today, so the data goes back 3 weeks, and the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So let's see what they're showing is going to happen. So we're really seeing a lot of regrowth in this forecast period. See, it's really filling in and thickening into a darker purple. So this hole in this East Siberian Sea is filling in, and so it's filled in all the way around the coastline, going further south in the Kara Sea. Not much regrowth on this east side, that's still struggling there. And here, starting to see some regrowth in this Beaufort Sea, and not much in the Chukchi Sea. And then little more regrowth in these tributaries, and this fringe ice is coming further down in this Baffin Bay area. And now let's zoom in a little more and look at this thicker ice, what it's doing. It looks like even a break is forming. See, almost it gets so thin here next to Ellesmere. See that? That's at the end of the forecast period. Okay, here we are next Sunday, and that looks like a break there. So this head is kind of sliding down. It looks like an octopus to me. So it's sliding down to the west. We've seen this in the past where this will slide down and end up being caught up in this Beaufort gyre. Here's some a little thicker ice still forming around this Greenland coastline. About the same on the aqua not much change. So here we are today, so let's just click through and see what's happening. And so it's sliding down through the Fram Strait too. So it's we're seeing more darker blue in the forecast period. So we're now going to probably see as this extent just gradually comes out, then the thickening will start picking up. Okay, here's the Antarctic sea ice thickness, and it's on the melting time now. See all the white here? This is around the Brunt ice shelf. Here's the Weddell Sea, that's still thickening. We've got aqua next to this western peninsula, and then also around the edge there, and more aqua forming around some of these coastlines. But we've got open water in some of these areas too around the coast. Not much ice on this east side. This east side is kind of always like this. And here's the 30-day animation, again updated to today. So the forecast goes out to next Sunday. So it's just kind of holding. Okay, here's National Snow and Ice Data Center for yesterday. Arctic sea ice concentration. And we're seeing more whites come in as the ice is filling in the gaps so that there are no cracks. That means it's fully concentrated. Doesn't mean it's thick. It means that there are no cracks and it's frozen instead of in the blue areas like that. The brown line is the median, so we're still well below the median. And here's our refreeze chart. This blue line is this year. Dotted line is 2012, so we've gone angled up a tiny bit away from 2012, so it's on the refreeze there. And here's our median up here. Here's the Antarctic, and the brown line is the median. You see these areas of open water on the coast. And here's their melting chart. And the blue line is this year, and this gray-green line is last year, and the lighter gray line is the median. And so it had been coming down, and it looks like for the last 2 or 3 days it's kind of flatlined, but yeah, the angle is just a nudge down on the end there. So the melting kind of leveled off for a lot of this week. Here's Greenland for yesterday, sheet melt, and they're still seeing melting up here in this north area. This has been a constant, just a few salmon dots up there. Here are the cumulative melt days for this year, and this little black X, that's where it's melting right now too, and that's 100 days plus of melting. And here's their extent chart. And so we bottomed out here and flatlined with the median. So it runs April through October, their readings do. That's all of those. Now I'm moving to NASA Worldview, and you can see this black circle getting bigger. This is where the sun has gone down. We have a notice up here, notification, and it says during the week of October 30th there may be issues with the availability of some imagery layers due to major system updates. We apologize for any inconvenience. So they're telling you in advance there may be some outages. So here we can see it's coming down over Greenland, Canada, the archipelago region. Alaska is still in the light. Most of Russia is still in the light. This Taimyr Peninsula is, see, it's going in the dark. Yama Peninsula has started going in the dark. Novaya Zemlya is almost all in the dark. So let's look at this model. Arctic sea ice concentration. And we'll turn off the clouds so we can see it better. So here we are today, and see the white. That means that it's fully concentrated. So let's go back to last week. Last Sunday is where we were here. There was still a big hole in this East Siberian Sea, and these were in the stages of refreezing here. So let's just click through. Here's the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and there we are. So in the last few days, it's really been filling in. So we'll turn those layers off. And we'll see what we can see on the satellite image. Here's Greenland, and here's the ice coming down on this east side where it's freezing there. Novaya Zemlya. See, all of this top part's in the dark. This area down here is still open. let's, well, that's okay. Here's Taimyr Peninsula, and see, all this is in the dark. I so miss the nighttime layer. I wish when they did their updates that they would bring that back. Maybe someone can tell them we want the nighttime layer back. So here's the refreeze in the Laptev Sea. See there? There's your ice. And here it is in the East Siberian Sea. See that? And it's still kind of fringe ice here around the coast there. And then on around, this is all filling in. And so this is open here. Open, open, open. Here's Wrangell Island. Oh, this is, I made a mistake. This is ice here. You can see that. And then it's open down here. Here it is along the coast. These are clouds. There's the Bering Strait, open. Here's Alaska, open. There's the Beaufort Sea. This part is open. Then Canada. And is this ice? Is this ice or clouds? I can't tell. Okay, these are clouds then. And the ice is up here. And the sun is at a very low angle, so you get like a lot of shadows and strange kind of, you know, bright areas and then darker areas, strange colors like the blue. Here's some refreeze. And here's the tributaries. And here's Greenland. And so this is open. These are clouds here. So that's about all we can see up there. Now we'll go to the Antarctic view, and we're going to start down here. Pine Island Glacier is where I like to start. We've got a lot of clouds today. This area tends to like to stay cloudy. The 25th was a pretty good view. Look at all this open water. And here's the glacier, and here's the edge where it's capped off. There's some clouds over it there. Here's sea ice down here. So, see if we can make anything out. Not really. Okay, here's the Thwaites Glacier, fully cloud covered. Here it was on the 25th. here's some clouds. So here's where the tongue had broken off. Looks like it's almost rejoining here, which is kind of unusual to me. This is a big cloud. Okay, can't see that much. Too many clouds. But a lot of open water here, just next to it. Open here. Let's come on up here. And here's the Weddell Sea and the Weddell ice shelf. Here's the ice edge. Let's see. You can see with the thickness, you can see it 3D almost here. Let's see. Look at this. This is quite a view. See, you can see the 3D. There's the definition there. Open right along the ice shelf. Look at all this. This is gonna melt fast. And here's the Brunt ice shelf. And we're looking through a cloud. This has all opened up here. See, here's the Brunt. Remember, this broke off, and so this is open. We've got is this ice? Let's see if this is ice. Yeah, we've got some fringe ice here. It's not very substantial, but it's open up here. See. Let's go back to today, and then let's go in the Weddell Sea. This is a really good view, and here's the ice. See, breaking up. And here's the Western Peninsula. So it's along here that we've got the aqua ice, and also out here on the edge, 2 to 2.5 meters thick. Okay, let's come on around, and here's the north side. See, open around the coastline. See, here's the Amory ice shelf. We've got clouds here. Let's go back. Here's yesterday. Oh, here's the 27th. This is a great view. There's no clouds. And here's the open water and the ice shelf. And some, here's a cloud. Here's, this is melting. This is disintegrating pretty quick. And then here's the ice shelf. See the blues. I'm not sure what those are. If anyone knows what these blue areas are, you could put it in the comments. I would appreciate it. I don't know how much of this is shadows from the rocks, or just what the blues are, or if it's just the color of the ice. See, look at this. See, this is open. This is opening up real fast here. Here's open, open. Let's go back to today. Oh look, yesterday. Look at this. Look at all this open water. Then today, look at this. So this is melting fast. And the ice doesn't come out very far. Here's the Totten Glacier. Here's yesterday. Look at this view. Talk about open and like no clouds. This is quite the view. Here's the tongue. This had been a crack, but it looks like it filled in and then some. Here's open, and here's some fringe ice, and open over here. Open, open, and refreeze here. But, you know, to have it open water by the end of the winter time is not a good sign. I mean, why didn't it refreeze when it was dark down here? Well, the reason is that the water was too warm for it to refreeze. Here's open. See how it's pulled away from the ice shelf there. Here's the Ross Sea. Look at this view. Here's Ross Island, Mount Erebus, and this shadow is getting a lot less as the sun is rising. And here's another shadow at McMurdo Station, Research Station. Open water over here. Let's see. Here's yesterday. Look at this. See the melting? This is going fast in here. And then moving around. See the open water. This is opening up. Here's Ross Ice Shelf. Here's open around the coast. And here you can see the sea ice. And it comes out pretty far here. And coming around. So here it was on the 26th. See, open, open, and back to where we started from. So there's that. And now let's look at some earthquakes. We already saw a few of them. We've got 214 right now in the last 24 hours. This is a 5.0 Kermadec Islands. These are all 4s. Look at all this activity. And this is a 2.8 at Lanjarón, Spain. I think that's how you say it. See, on the southern coast. 4.3 in Greece. Look at all these. These are all 4s. Earlier this week we saw, or was it yesterday? Yesterday or day before, we saw one right in the middle of Lake Baikal in Russia. There's the 6.0 Vanuatu, Alaska. There's one on the coast, 2.6 Koptovik, and so on. And we've got 3 down here in South America. We've got 2 off the coast of Nicaragua, 2 4s, 4.1 and 4.6. And nothing real major over here in the U.S. Here's that 4.1 Norwegian Sea and 5.1 Northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Let's go 7 days, all magnitudes now. So we had activity up here at Iceland. There were 2. One right in the center of the island of 5.1. That was on the 24th. 4.6 at Vogar on the 25th. And also a 3.5 at Vogar on the 24th. So activity there. And quite a bit of activity on this east side of the planet. Look at these in the Mediterranean, all in a row there. Africa, down here you had 2. Here was that one right in the lake at Lake Baikal on the 27th. So these are 4s and 5s. So, can't remember if there were any more 6s. 5.9 off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. Here was 5.0 near Rio Grande, Panama. We've got a clustering here coming down across Mexico. Here's one at the north end of the Cocos Plate, 4.2, La Rivera, Mexico. Oh, and Acapulco got hit with a terrible Category 5 hurricane and just demolished a lot of the city. And the pictures are just extraordinary. So we've got more on this east side in the U.S. this week. Look at all this activity. It's picking up. Okay, here in West Texas, they had a lot of activity. There were 36 here this week. This is from oil drilling. 3.2. There's a 3.2. that came in last night. Mainly 2s. There's a couple of 1s. And then 2s is just showing constant movement with 2s and 1s. And then the largest was 3.2 last night. Then let's see, what did I have? Oh yeah, before we go on there, here's one at the top end of the Juan de Fuca plate, 4.5 on the 23rd. So it's like bookends from the Juan de Fuca to the Cocos plate, and when you have movement on one, this was on the 23rd, you're going to have movement on the other end, also on the 23rd, 4.5. And these are connected by the San Andreas fault line. We also had up here in Alaska, there were 41. This is near Covenant, Alaska. So 41, that's a pretty good swarm. And we had 2 5s up here, 5.1 on the 27th. And this all started on the 27th. So 5.1, then some 2s, and then a 5.3 later on the 27th as well. So once you have 5s, you can have aftershocks. So these 2s and 1s are aftershocks. Here's a 3.5, 3.2, and then 2s and 1s. And then here's another 3.1 today, 1.8 kilometers deep. These are shallow. Here's 0 depth, 2.4. A lot of these are 0 depth, see? So it's right at the surface. And so, and in fact, the majority of them are 0 depth. So magma's rising. It's either that, or we've got some earthquake makers doing something up there. So 41 there this week. That was a big deal. And let's see, here in my neck of the woods, the Reno area, Spanish Springs continued to move some this week. There were 6 here this week. So that number's gone down. And 1.4 was the largest. So that's going down there. Walker Lake here in California, they had 21 this week. Where was, I thought I saw a large, oh yeah, here's a 4.2. This was on the 27th. 4.2. See? These are mainly 2s and 1s. Here's a 3.3. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And so on and so forth there. Okay, then let's see. This is Mammoth Lakes. We haven't seen very much here all summer. There were 37 here this week, so looks like this is picking back up. 2.4 at Round Valley. See all these dots. Searles Valley Ridge Crest. They had 52 here. So I think that's picked up a little bit. Here's a 3.5 at Little Lake. 1.8 kilometers deep. Pretty shallow. And then 2s and 1s. Some were microquakes, like under 1. Then here in Southern California, we've got 12 in this picture. This is near Ludlow. And this can be a swarming area. So 12 here. And two 2.6s. And those were the largest there. Not that much going on there. Okay, then in the San Francisco area, here, right next to the bay, there were 11 at this one spot, Millbrae, and this was 27th to 28th, and the largest was a 3.7 near Millbrae on the 27th. So movement's picking up when you see these kind of little swarms and clusters and things like that. It's definitely that's important. So I think that's it for my report for tonight. And now we'll bring it back to a spiritual tone. And we're reading out of the book of Tobit, which was from the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is a group of books that were considered to be in the Bible but didn't make it. So we're continuing to read out of Tobit chapter 13. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, Blessed be God that liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom, for he doth scourge and have mercy. He leadeth down to hell and bringeth up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. Confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them. Then declare his greatness, and extol him before all the living, for he is our Lord, for he is the God our Father forever. And he will scourge us for our iniquities, and will have mercy again, and will gather us out of all nations among whom he hath scattered us. If ye turn to him with your whole heart and with your whole mind, and deal uprightly before him, then he will turn unto you, and will not hide his face from you. Therefore see what he will do with you, and confess him, with your whole mouth, and praise the Lord of might, and extol the everlasting King. In the land of my captivity do I praise him, and declare his might and majesty to a sinful nation. O ye sinners, turn and do justice before him. Who can tell if he will accept you and have mercy on you? I will extol my God, and my soul shall praise the King of heaven, and shall rejoice in his greatness. Let all men speak, and let all praise him for his righteousness. O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy children's works, and will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous. Give praise to the Lord, for he is good, and praise the everlasting King, that his tabernacle may be builded in thee again with joy. And let him make joyful there in thee those that are captives, and love in thee forever those that are miserable. Many nations shall come from far to the name of the Lord God, with gifts in their hands, even gifts to the King of heaven. All generations shall praise thee with great joy. Cursed are all they which hate thee, and blessed shall all be which love thee forever. Rejoice and be glad for the children of the just, for they shall be gathered together, and shall bless the land of the Lord of the just. O blessed are they which love thee, for they shall rejoice in thy peace. Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all thy scourges, for they shall rejoice for thee, when they have seen all thy glory, and shall be glad for thee. Let my soul bless the great King, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone, thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold, and the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir. And all her streets shall say, Alleluia, and they shall praise him, saying, Blessed be God, which hath extolled it forever. Tobit chapter 13. So, that's a good prayer, and we need to be praying, and we need to ask for repentance and forgiveness, and give our lives to Jesus and God before it's too late. I'm praying for all of you, and we've got dark days ahead of us. I mean, we're in the middle of them, and it's only going to get darker now for a while until Jesus' return. So, remember, it doesn't matter what happens to your body. What matters is what happens to your soul. And you want to be found worthy to go to heaven. You don't want to be caught up in Satan's snare and be taken down. Just by default, you really don't want to. So, I love you all, and I'm praying for you. Hope you all have as good a week as possible. Lord willing, and if we're still here and the internet is up and everything, and if I'm able to, I'll do another update next Sunday. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.